Hi, welcome to another new episode of Missions Workout from Home, Season 5, Episode number 19. So today, we're going to talk about are alcohol bad for you, okay? So we're going to talk as usual, what does the bad means, and if there's such thing as this beverage is better than the other beverage, and we're also going to talk about, last but not least, how you can sort of practice it. Alright, so should you avoid it, or should you have it, or should have a little bit, how much is too much? So we'll discuss everything that we can in this episode. Alright, so as usual, feel free to like, share, or even comment on this show so more people can actually view what's going on. And at the same time, just a small little announcement, if you want to work out at home, like train how I show you all this while, stress-free, everything programmed, customized for you, I got it covered for you. So if you want, you can just drop a message, just work out from home, you key in everything in capital letter, and I'll get to you, and hey, you can actually start doing it. Alright, so let's get into it. Alright, so what is defined by alcohol? Alright, so there is a lot of definitions around what makes a beverage alcohol. So example, to give you an idea, right, I can take water and I just put one drip of alcohol, maybe 1 milliliter. It's not considered an alcoholic beverage, so to speak. So how do you consider it as an alcohol beverage? Apparently based on the US FDA, United States Food and Drug Administration, anything more than 5 to 20% of the volume beverage, if there's a 5 to 20%, sorry, 5 to 75%, anything more than 5% in a nutshell is considered an alcohol beverage. So it's only like 1-2% they wouldn't consider it as alcohol beverage. Again, every country is different. In Malaysia, for example, I use Shandy. Shandy is only 1 or 2% of alcohol content, but it's considered an alcohol beverage. So every country will be a little bit different. But to keep it, let's just pretend into this topic, everything that has a drip of alcohol is considered alcohol beverage. So you all know the alcohol beverage stuff, right? So beer, wine, whiskey, vodka, champagne, what else? Gin. So the list goes on. So we're talking about all this. So are they good or are they bad for you, right? You will always see one article that say, you know what, drinking alcohol is good because it helps you to reduce your risk of some certain disease, or it helps you to apparently reduce the risk of death, whatever that means. Alright, so and then you'll see another article that say, oh, don't take alcohol. You know, alcohol is just a dangerous thing. It will cause addiction. Don't take it, even if there's no health benefit. So where do we draw the line, or how do we know alcohol is good or not good? So I'm not here to give you answers. It's more like give you some ideas. You think about it, how good or how bad, right? So okay, so this is it. So a lot of people say, I think you hear before, red wine is better than white wine. What do they even mean by that? Alright, so based on my understanding or my observation is that when they say this is better than that, they will assume by less alcohol content, number one. Or number two, which I think is fixed for today's topic, is the calorie content inside the alcohol beverage. So for example, right, people tell me, oh, you know what, white wine is better than red wine. If they are saying like this, I will assume they are thinking that the alcohol of red wine is lesser than red wine. White wine is lesser than red wine, so to speak. And turns out, just some fun fact for you, even if there is a bit of difference, the difference is not a lot. So example, red wine is 67 calories per 100 ml, and then you have white wine, which is 64 calories in 100 ml. So it doesn't matter much. You only see the difference in 3 calories. 3 calories, how much the 3 calories matters, let me tell you. If you walk like maybe 2 to 3 stairs, 2 to 3 stories of stairs, you're done already, 4 calories are burned. So in other words, alcohol is not something you want to like, ooh, very, very serious. It's not as bad as what people claim. And when they say, oh, I take this instead of that, you're only seeing a small picture. The margin, example, if I take whiskey versus vodka, you compare the calorie, it's not a lot. At most, right, it's going to be 10 calories different per serving, by the way. So it depends, right? And then, of course, it depends on one thing we are sure, of course, we take extremes to compare. If I have to choose between beer and champagne, I will go for champagne. This example, assuming price is not a factor, I would go for more on what I call all the alcohol, gin, and all the stuff, because the calorie is lesser compared to beer. You all know beer contains way higher calories. So, example, you drink a pint of beer, it may cost up to 300 over calories. Whereas if you have nobody drinks a pint of gin, obviously. So you have a very little bit of gin only, a little bit of serving. So it makes total sense. If you have like gin on the rock, right? Maybe gin with lemon slice. The most going to cost is like what, 70 or 80 calories per serving. So as you can see, the difference is very much, aside from the volume factor, because beer you drink more, it doesn't make much of difference. So I wouldn't sweat so much about it. Okay. With that being said, whether alcohol is good for you or not, one thing you have to take into consideration. I know, again, with this disclaimer, I am not a health expert, or I'm not a general practitioner. If you want to make any changes to your diet, please seek a professional before you make any changes. Alright, so this is just for regular human being. You're not talking about special conditions. So example, right? Why I tell this on is that if you are drinking a lot of alcohol, but you've got alcohol intolerance. So some people are alcohol intolerant. I use myself for example. I'm actually alcohol intolerant. If I drink a lot of red wine, especially red wine, I will have rashes the next day. Very, very itchy scratches, and it just feels uncomfortable in me. That is the problem with if you are intolerant. I wouldn't recommend you take it. And vice versa. I also wouldn't recommend you to make it into an addiction. Alright, so for example, if you like every time you stress, you need a beer, for example, then it's not good. Even though the recommendation, daily recommendation, you only have 1 or 2 glass a day, 1 or 2 glass of alcohol beverage a day, 1 for female, 2 for male. Right, so this is the general recommendation, a good rule of thumb, so to speak. So if let's say you only drink 2 times a day, but every time you drink is because there's I need to get my stress off, use it as a form of de-stress, then you might want to take note, just maybe you might be dwelling into an addiction problem. Okay, so I'm not going to ask you to stop or ask you to drink more, but just want to take note. So it's just like cigarette. Having 1 cigarette a day apparently wouldn't do you a lot of damage, but you do it in the long run, or you increase the number of smoking, then you're going to have some trouble. Alcohol beverage is a little bit similar like this. Okay, so if you have too much alcohol, what's going to happen? So if you have a lot of alcohol, let's say you are a heavy drinker, or you're a heavy drinker. For example, you have 2 to 3, or even let's pretend that you have 5 servings every day. So you go this, you may have some problem, which includes some risk of heart disease, and even health complication such as high blood pressure, and even potential for stroke. Right? This stroke is a bit funny one. You have a bit little, you have 1 or 2 servings per day, you may have, there's articles say you may reduce the risk of stroke a little bit. But then if you have too much of serving of alcohol beverage, then you might risk of increasing of getting a stroke. So it's very funny. So, but a good rule of thumb is you stick in between. You don't have to avoid it, but you don't want to like become an addiction problem. Even worse, you have more than 2 glass of serving as per recommended by the health officials, US FDA. Okay, so these are good rule of thumb. So, moral of the story: if you want to have any alcohol beverage, there's no problem. Just make sure you, number one, especially if your goal is to lose weight, alright? Number one, if you want to lose weight, the goal is to track your calories, okay? Not track your calories. You need to take calories into consideration. If you don't want to drink so much, you just exceed your calorie, then you'll be on a surplus. That means when you're on a calorie surplus, you cannot lose weight, alright? But if you count your calories properly, you put the calorie content of the alcohol into your diet, let it feed, or you call it feed your macros. Okay, if you can do that, then hey, actually there's not much problem. Okay, so it's just more general wise. Alcohol is not something you need to totally avoid, and it's not something you like need to don't even have a single drink in your life anymore. You don't have to. You can always see somewhere in between. Now, this sparks me a very interesting something that pops out into my mind when I was doing this topic also, is that if I don't take alcohol, am I missing something out? So I looked a couple of articles, a few research. There's no strong evidence show that if you don't take alcohol, you are not getting some health potential or any health benefit. There's no evidence. So example, it doesn't mean that if you don't take wine, example, you have you will not, if you take, sorry, let me rephrase that. If you want to be healthy, right, it doesn't mean that if you take wine, if you don't take wine, it's not better than someone who takes wine in terms of the risk of getting stroke, or sorry, heart disease. So it doesn't work like that. So as far as my concern, one might also notice that if you take alcohol beverage into your diet, or vice versa, if you don't take, there's no special benefit or leaving things on the table. It turns out if you don't have alcohol in your life, no problem. If you have alcohol in your life, also no problem, as long as you don't have an addiction problem, or you don't don't drink so much that it causes you health complication. That's about it. Okay, and hey, believe it or not, I guess that's it. That is all for my sharing today. Oh, maybe I just share a bonus. If you're tracking calories, alright, so if you are like using some app and tracking your calories, how do you track your calories? Of course, you can take a picture, you snap a picture, right? It's going to tell you, some of the labels are quite cool. You scan it, it's going to tell you how much calories you eat and so on. But you might thinking, okay, calories are equated. If you want to go to extra mile, how about carbs or fat? Where do I put it, right? Because you won't see you see protein, carbs, fat. You will never see an alcohol column. You will not. So how do you put it into your diet? Well, this is quite simple. Let's pretend let's say I use beer for example. A can of beer is 300 calories. So when do you put 300 calories inside? Well, simple only. You can split it, whether you want to put it all into carbs, or you can put it all into fat, or you can distribute around it. So example, right? 1 gram of fat is equivalent to 9 calories. So let's pretend it's 300. So if you take 300 divided by 9, it's going to be around 30 to 40 calories give and take, right? So 30 to 40 grams of fat. So you can put it at the fat column. If you want to put it on a carbohydrate column, can. So you take 300 divided by 4, because 1 gram of carbs is equivalent to 4 calories. So you can take 300 divided by 4, you get okay, I cannot do math, but 75 if I'm not mistaken, right? Right, so 300 divided by 4, yeah, so you get like, let's pretend for simplicity sake, let's say it's 70 grams of carb. So there you go, you got your answer. Or you can actually do in the between, mix a little bit on the carbs, put the rest of the fat, it's up to you. But as long as calories are equated, you should be fine. Alright, so if you're curious, this is for extra mile. So if you are a bit more advanced, you want to track calories, you can do what I said a couple of minutes ago. Right? So in general, long cut short, do you need to avoid alcohol? No. Does this mean you can drink all the alcohol that you can? No. So which alcohol is the best? There's no such thing. I would say the best is the one that you enjoy, and which one you enjoy, you make sure you keep the dosage as little as possible, right? So every week you have a go get drunk every night, or you have a mini bar at home, you try every single drink. Then you're asking for trouble. Obviously, you're not going to get a healthy lifestyle from that. Okay, vice versa doesn't mean you need to skip any single drip of alcohol. You can't even have, I don't know, you can't even have a cocktail in your entire life. No, it doesn't mean like that. You can still have your alcohol beverage as long as you keep moderation. So again, how much is too much? Like I mentioned early in this video, is that for general rule of thumb is 1 to 2 glass per person. Per person. So 1 glass for female, 2 glass for male. Don't ask me why female cannot have much. Alright, this is directed by US FDA. I have no idea. But the point is not how much should I drink. Is you want to have 1 or 2 drinks daily? Be my guest, no problem. Alright. With that being said, again, the rule of thumb, even though 1 or 2 is safe, but what you want to make sure it doesn't become an addiction problem. So meaning, it's like cigarette. Every time once you drink already, every time you have a stressful time, you need a drink. If you say, I need a drink, you might want to reconsider how to do. Alright, again, seek professional help if you have this problem. Alright, it's not a serious problem, but if it becomes an addiction problem, then you might want to give and take a bit. Alright. So I guess that's it. Alright, thank you so much for joining today's episode. So I hope you guys can take home some messages on this. So long cut short, alcohol beverage is not bad for you, it's not good for you either. Just stay in between, you should be fine. Alright. So alcohol is sexist, bro. Maybe, or you can ask the guy who did it. But my theory on a serious note, alright, maybe male, they will assume the male is a bigger size, the female is a smaller one. So makes sense, right? So example, like eating rice also say what? People also say, oh, male should eat more, female should eat less, because presuming male are bigger, larger individual and female are smaller individual, they don't need that much energy. Male can take more energy. Just this is my 2 cents, which makes okay. So I guess that's it, right? So once again, hope this episode helps you out. So the next time you want to have a beer, just go stress free. Just have one and just move on. What you don't want to do is YOLO all the way and just drink until in Cantonese we say "pat zui pat fan." That means you drink until you don't get drunk, you don't stop. Then that is not definitely not a good thing. All right. So I guess that's it. I'm gonna catch you on Thursday. So on Thursday, I am going to share with you how to work out training your arms. Okay. So using household item, I'm going to do maybe 3 exercises as always. And just go around it using household items. So no excuse, you can't say you cannot work out from home. And I guess that's it. Alright, so once again, thank you so much for joining. So if you miss out the first few part of portions, don't worry, you can always catch the replay at the end of this show, or you can catch everything. I've archived it at YouTube, so you can go to YouTube, pause, play whatever resolution you want, be my guest. Alright? So I guess that's it. Once again, thank you so much. And last but not least, always remember, you can always work out from home. So till then, you guys take care, be safe, and I'll catch you on the next episode on Thursday.